Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on a 2007 Cadillac Escalade, doing the power steering pump. So sit back and enjoy the ride. Okay, so we have 2007 Cadillac Escalade. As you can see, the power steering line is pretty well corroded, but as of right now, this is not leaking. This line down here, I don't know if it shows up. Let me get down. You can see that it's wet. It has a pinhole in it, and that line is actually part of the tank. It comes from the factory solid unit, so there's no replacing just that little line. And since these lines are pretty well corroded, I'm just going to replace the high pressure line, which is what this is, and the low pressure line from the tank to the radiator where it goes to the transmission cooler, and then from the rack, which is down there, it's a low pressure line going from the rack to the radiator, and then from the radiator back to the tank, which is what this hose attaches to. And then I'm also going to be throwing on a inline filter for the power steering line. So I'm gonna let me get situated and we'll start tearing this thing apart. Okay, so to take the power steering pump off, we need to remove the belt. So this is a 15 millimeter. And I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but it does not seem to snap back. So, but we can take that off. And get that out of the way. We'll just kind of set it off to the side. We don't need to pull it out of the engine. There's no reason to. All right, then to get it out, it appears we're going to have to pull the pulley off. There's a couple bolts behind the pulley, and the pulley is solid. You can see that there's no holes in the pulley to reach through to grab those bolts. So we're going to have to pull that off. That looks a little iffy. This shoulder that you pull on seems a little questionable, so hopefully it pulls off without too much issue, because the new pump did not come with a pulley. So let me get a pulley puller on there and we'll move forward. Alright, so the tool I'm using is OEM tools. I got it off Amazon, not a sponsor. I've had pretty good luck with the OEM tools, so I continue to get them. So I'll put a link in the description. Alright, so when you open up the kit, comes with Not a lot of stuff, but enough to do the job. So the way this works is this little lip here will go around and grab that shoulder that I showed. It's all rusty. And then the upper part here will grab this shoulder, and then you just tighten this nut down, and on a press-on pulley, it should just pull it right off. So you'll need a socket or a wrench here, and then you'll need an open end or a box end here just to hold that steady as you manipulate the tool to pull the pulley off. Oh, and this collar goes on after you have it sitting on there. This collar slides down and keeps the tool from falling apart as you're using it. So that just keeps these halves together. So let's get that set up. Alright, so the nut is 21 millimeter and this stud is 16 millimeter. What you can do is watch your gap here as you're turning and make sure it is pulling out. Goodness gracious. And there we go, finally. So it is just a press fit onto that shaft. And now we have 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3 that hold the power steering pump on. Potentially 4. Maybe there's a 4th one here that may or may not be in the bottom of that I'll have to look at the new one and see if I have to pull that. Those are also 15 millimeter. Alright, none of those were very tight. Guys on the ground again. Alright, so there's a long one on the top. And actually that, now that I'm looking at it, that doesn't go to the power steering pump. So that one can go back in. That holds this bracket on. One, two. All right, and then said there's another one right here, which apparently does go to the power steering pump. This one does not. Although there is a nut back here on the back of the power steering pump. Seems to go to this bracket right here. And as we drop everything underneath the car, that's apparently where it all belongs. We will need to pull that bolt out, which goes to the rack. So we have the low pressure line coming off the rack. You have the high pressure line coming from the power steering pump going into the rack. And yeah, so not a lot involved in it, just kind of a pain in the butt. I mean, the nice thing is there's plenty of room in this engine bay. Alright, so there's 3 bolts there. And then the one nut on a stud back here. We may need to remove that bracket, or at least loosen it up. Let's see if that's also 15 millimeter. Alright, so there's the power steering pump loose. Need to try and get it out from around the bracket in the car and the steering so that we can get the high pressure hose off. I'd love to get you another angle on this, but this is all aluminum, so the magnet won't really stick to it. Alright, so when you go to drain this, make sure you got a bucket underneath. Catch everything. Alright, so we got zip ties everywhere holding our electrical to power steering lines, so we need to cut those off. Make sure we didn't cut our electric wires when we're done. And this hose comes with a loom on it, and I'm really not sure what this is in it. I mean, it almost looks like salt. Why there'd be salt in the loom, I really don't know. I mean, you can see how much there is in there. But anyway, we'll get that cleaned out. We have the I got the hose off of the low pressure. We have that draining into our bucket below. Now we have to try and break that nut loose, which is the high pressure line on the power steering pump. Alright, so this is supposed to be 16 millimeter. Let's see if it is. Still a lot of rust down here. Well, yeah, 16 fits on it. Sort of. Oh, it doesn't want to move though. You are an 8 millimeter. All right. All right, now when I go to reassemble this, remind me that the high pressure goes on the bottom, low pressure on the top. All right, so make sure you remind me of that when the time comes. All right, so now I just have these hose clamps to take off over here. Looks like this one on the low pressure side. The return to the tank is one of the weird crimp ones that are a pain in the butt to get off. This one here is a normal grab. It's a normal grab other than it's up against the radiator. Give it a little twist, see if we can move it enough to grab it with the pliers. There we go. Well, that didn't help. Alright, so I got the bracket off the old pump. And now I'm trying to put it on the new pump. The old pump had a stud here and a stud here. This one has a bolt here that's a different size than the 15 millimeter that everything else has been. So I need to take that off to put this on. And this is the same thread pitch as the nut that came off the other one. So that's 18 millimeter versus the 15. And I'm not sure why or if it matters, but there is a blue paint mark on all these bolts. Oh, that does not want to budge at all. Let's see if I can live without it. All right, so this does not have a taper on it, but it does come with an O-ring. So we'll stick the O-ring on there. We'll get the high pressure line started. Get the high pressure line in loosely. We have this nut on basically finger tight. Like I said, it's not going to go into this one. It won't come loose. This goes into the block, so hopefully it all will go in correctly. Ouch. Ouch. Really? Can you get the camera out of the oil pan, please? These hurt. Can't see. plug, huh? No. If I wanted things to fall off, I would not bother putting them up. Does it even have seals in there? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have seals in there already. Ouch. There we go. There's one. There's... Oh! Seals are out. Okay, Eric, what'd you do with the other one? You had two. What'd you do with it? You put it down someplace where it would be safe. There it is. All right, we found it. Okay. Okay. Go down. All right. There's the other new on the ground. That's good for it. Yep. Get full of sand and dirt. Yep, that'll be good. Awesome. What?
Oh, it's going to poke me. Just being sure it didn't stick into my finger.
Okay. You come up here. Come. You can come up here. You can do it. I'll let you. Come on. Come on. There you go. There you go. Yep. Alright, so I pulled out the old seals in the rack. Put new seals in because it came with them. Get that started into the rack. And we have the 8mm bolt, which goes in hopefully easier than it came out. All right, we got it started. Alright, as it goes in, make sure that it sits flat against the rack. You want to make sure that this is sitting flat against the rack as you snug it down. We want to take a 16 millimeter and snug up our line, high pressure line on the pump. So I got the two lines hooked up to the cooler again. I have the nut tightened down on the rack. I have the high pressure line tightened to the power steering reservoir. This is the return line from the cooler. If you recall at the beginning of the video, I said I'm going to be putting in a inline filter, so that is going to go in this line here. So I need to figure out how long I need this, and then cut this and install the inline filter. Let me go get that for you and show you that. Alright, so this is what I got. In fact, all my parts are Edelman, not a sponsor. I'll put a link in the description. I did get them off of Rock Auto, also not a sponsor. So I have this cut to length, but I need to, or I want to put this in line. So I need to shorten this much. So we'll give a little tail to go into the return here. And that goes on. All right, the hose clamps are 6 millimeter. I have to put the pulley back on. And this is a press fit. The way this works is you thread this bolt into the power steering pump, and then you turn this nut here, which will press the pulley onto the shaft.
So is that just an exhaust tube? Huh?
What?
Is that just an exhaust tube then, down there?
Where, what?
A cut tube?
No. This is going into it. And then this is going into that.
Oh.
So. But I need to fill this with fluid and then turn the pump keep refilling it with fluid, and I'm gonna flush the system out of the old stuff. So I'm gonna do that before I put the filter on and everything else. So I need to get the pulley on just so it makes it easier to spin. All right, tighten it up until the tool stops. It means that the pulley is flush with the shaft. All right, because that tensioner pulley didn't spring back when after I loosened it, ran out to O'Reilly's, not a sponsor, got a new pulley, tensioner pulley, so we'll get that installed. And also, since I got a new pulley, bought a new belt, and we'll get that installed. The tensioner is 3 bolts, so pretty simple, no sense watching that. I'll be back when I get that on. Okay, so the GoPro overheated and lost the closing of this, so here it is again. So we've got our new belt on and run correctly. And we have the filter installed on the power steering line. Everything is dry, so everything is working correctly as far as that goes. And we have the new tensioner on. So that's installing a power steering pump on a 2007 Cadillac Escalade. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, God bless. Have a wonderful day.